love when you wine and bend over. Give me a little slow wine. Roll down that bumper. Jump it like the baseline. I want you to so sweet about. Yeah, it's a soca say the.
A low man is due in court today accused in the murder of a young mother on Thanksgiving. 22-year-old Leonard Robinson is charged with killing Deja Jenkins-Minus.
Thanksgiving, 2021. A Boston family sits around a dinner table, staring at an empty chair. Dejah's plate is getting cold. Her phone rings endlessly, going straight to voicemail every single time. Her 2-month-old baby, Delaney, is missing with her. Dejah's mother, Latoya, keeps checking her phone. She knows her daughter. She raised her for 22 years. Dejah wouldn't miss this day. Not her baby girl's first Thanksgiving. Something is catastrophically wrong, and every mother's instinct in Latoya's body is screaming it. The food sits untouched. The family pretends to make conversation, but everyone's eyes keep drifting to that empty chair. Hours pass. The sun sets. Still nothing. No call, no text, no explanation. Fast forward 36 hours. A locked bedroom door in Lowell gets kicked open by police. What they find inside will make your stomach turn. There's a pool of blood that starts in the kitchen and trails all the way to the bedroom, like some horrific roadmap of her final moments. Deja Jenkins lies on the floor next to an air mattress. 58 stab wounds cover her body, chest, neck, face, head. Her neck is fractured from the sheer force of the attack. The weapon is still at the scene. The killer didn't even bother to hide it. Here's what makes this worse. The man who did this was wearing a court-ordered GPS tracker the entire time. The state of Massachusetts was actively monitoring his location while he butchered her. They knew exactly where he was, second by second, as he stabbed her 58 times. Let that sink in for a moment. He was being watched by law enforcement, and it didn't stop a single thing. Now here's the part that'll break your brain. He loved her since they were 14 years old. They met at a roller rink when they were kids. He gave her a baby just 2 months before this happened. He posted about her constantly on social media, calling her his queen, his everything, the mother of his child. And on Thanksgiving, a day meant for gratitude and family, he stabbed her 58 times. How does 8 years of love turn into 58 stab wounds in one afternoon? That's the question that haunts this entire case. Stay with me, because the answer is darker than you think. Before we go any further, I need to say something, and what comes next is going to disturb you to your core. Right now, only 4% of the people watching this video are subscribed to this channel. 4%. That means 96% of you are about to watch a 22-year-old mother get stabbed 58 times, feel upset for about 15 minutes, then scroll away and forget she ever existed by tomorrow morning. Her killer is counting on exactly that. He's counting on you forgetting. Dejah's daughter, Delaney, is 4 years old right now, and one day she's going to Google her mother's name. The algorithm will only show her this story if you actually engage with it, if you subscribe, if you comment, if you share it. So if you can't click a free button after hearing how a young mother died on Thanksgiving, then do me a favor. Leave a comment explaining why her story doesn't deserve 2 seconds of your time. I genuinely want to understand the thought process. What makes a story worth subscribing for if this one isn't? Now let me tell you who Dejah really was before he erased her from this world. Deja Jenkins was born on February 15, 1999, in Dorchester, Boston. And I need you to understand something right now. She wasn't just another victim. She was a real person with dreams, with plans, with a future that got ripped away from her. She graduated from Jeremiah Burke High School, and she wasn't just getting by. This girl was smart, genuinely brilliant. She had multiple college acceptances sitting on her desk, UMass Dartmouth, New England College. These weren't participation trophies. These were full scholarship offers she earned through actual hard work. She chose the University of Boston because she wanted to stay close to her family. While studying, she worked at Shake Shack, paying her own bills, building her own independence. This wasn't some troubled girl making bad decisions. This was someone actively building a real future for herself. The kind of daughter who called her mom every single day. The kind of friend who showed up when she said she would. Reliable, solid, present. Remember that, because it makes what happened even more devastating. Her friends described her with 3 specific words. loyal to a fault. I want you to hold onto those words, because they become important later. Dejah saw the best in people even when they showed her their absolute worst. She would defend you even when you were clearly wrong. She was the friend who'd answer the phone at 3 in the morning. Goofy, loud, unapologetically herself, in every room she walked into. But that loyalty, that beautiful quality that made everyone love her, it became her death sentence. She kept giving chances to people who didn't deserve them. She kept believing that people could change, that love could fix broken things, that if she just tried hard enough, stayed long enough, cared deeply enough, things would get better. That optimism, that hope, that refusal to give up on people, it's what killed her. Think about that. The best part of her personality became the weapon someone used against her. September 2021 changed everything for Dejah. Baby Deja Jenkins was born, and overnight, her entire world transformed. If you scroll through her social media from before the baby, you'll see a typical 22-year-old. Parties, friends, college life, work shifts. After Delaney, every single post is about her daughter. Photos of tiny clothes laid out on the bed. Screenshots of sleepless nights at 2, 3, 4 in the morning with captions like, "She's worth it." First smiles captured on camera, with shaky hands because Dejah was crying too hard from joy. She planned Delaney's first Thanksgiving obsessively. Weeks in advance, she'd already picked out a little turkey outfit. She posted about it constantly. "My baby's first holiday. I can't wait to see her little face. This is going to be perfect." Pure maternal bliss radiating from every single word. For 2 months, Dejah was exactly who she always wanted to be. A mother, a protector, someone building a life for her daughter. She was finally, completely happy for the first time in years. And he destroyed it all in one afternoon. The cruelty of that timing still hits differently. She didn't die struggling or suffering or uncertain. She died right when life finally made sense. Right when she'd found her purpose. They met when they were 14 years old. 2013, at Shave Roller Rink in Boston. Dejah and Leonard Robinson, what everyone called a love at first sight story. Cute, right? 2 kids meeting at a roller rink, holding hands, sharing their first kiss. Sounds like something out of a movie. Except that innocent beginning turned into 8 years of absolute chaos. Their relationship was on again, off again so frequently that friends stopped asking if they were even dating. High school, together for 6 months, break up, back together 3 weeks later. College years, same exhausting pattern repeating itself over and over. Every single time Dejah got strong enough to leave, to finally walk away and mean it, Leonard would come back, love bombing her with gifts, promises, tears, the whole performance. "I've changed, baby. I can't live without you. You're the only one who understands me." And she'd believe him. That loyalty kicking in again, that belief that people could change. The cycle would repeat itself within months. Another fight, another breakup, another round of him convincing her to come back. Her friends watched this happen for 8 years straight. 8 years of the same toxic pattern, and nobody could break through to her. 2020, middle of the pandemic, they got back together again. And this time, Dejah got pregnant. Leonard seemed excited initially. At least that's what his Instagram showed. Baby shower photos looked perfect. Him rubbing her belly, smiling for the camera, posting captions about becoming a father, and can't wait to meet my seed. But the mask was already cracking. People close to them could see it. The smile didn't reach his eyes in those photos. Now let me tell you who Leonard Robinson really was behind that roller rink romance. His stage name was Pboy D. Rose, an aspiring rapper chasing dreams while his real life was falling apart. But his government name, Leonard Robinson, had a very different reputation in the Massachusetts court system. November 2021, the same month he killed Dejah, Leonard was facing 2 separate gun charges in Suffolk Superior Court. Not 1, 2. Illegal firearms possession, ammunition violations, the kind of charges that carry serious prison time. He had previous convictions for violent crimes already on his record. The court released him on $5,000 bail. $5,000 for a repeat violent offender with 2 pending gun cases. Let that number sit with you for a second. $5,000 was apparently enough to ensure public safety. But here's the thing. The court didn't fully trust him either. They slapped a GPS ankle monitor on him with strict conditions. He had to wear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Court ordered curfew from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. every single night. His location was being transmitted to monitoring services every single second. The system deemed him dangerous enough to electronically track like an animal. They knew he was a threat. They knew his history. They knew he shouldn't be trusted walking around freely. But they also decided he wasn't dangerous enough to keep locked up. That decision cost Dejah her life. Because Leonard was literally being monitored by the state of Massachusetts, and he still committed murder. That ankle bracelet recorded everything. Every step he took, every location he visited, the exact moment he decided to cut it off after stabbing her. The technology worked perfectly. It just didn't save her. Days before Thanksgiving, Leonard's social media presence turned vicious. He started posting things that should have been red flags to everyone watching. Public posts questioning whether Delaney was even his biological daughter. Polls asking his followers if he should demand a DNA test. One post specifically said, "I'm mad at Dejah. Not hurt, not confused, not heartbroken. Mad. That's the word he chose. Anger, not pain. That distinction matters because it shows you what was building inside him." He humiliated her publicly while she was home alone, caring for their 2-month-old baby. Dejah had to watch him destroy her reputation in front of friends, family, complete strangers. Posts suggesting she cheated during her pregnancy, that she'd trapped him, that the baby might not even be his. The cruelty of doing this to an exhausted new mother in the hardest weeks of her life. Sleepless nights, postpartum recovery, trying to figure out how to keep a tiny human alive. And he's online calling her a liar, questioning his own daughter's paternity, turning people against her. Her friends begged her to leave him permanently. Block him. File for a restraining order. Never speak to him again. They'd watched this cycle for 8 years and knew exactly where it was heading. But Dejah didn't listen. That loyalty again. That fatal flaw. She still saw the 14-year-old boy from the roller rink. She still believed somewhere inside him was the person who used to make her laugh. She couldn't see what he'd actually become. A monster wearing the face of her first love. The morning of November 25th, 2021. Thanksgiving Day. Dejah woke up excited, genuinely. Purely excited in a way only new mothers understand. This was Delaney's first major holiday. Her first Thanksgiving. The turkey outfit was already laid out. The diaper bag packed with extra supplies, because you never know with babies. She posted on social media that morning. Photos of the holiday decorations, a close-up of Delaney's tiny hand, captions about being grateful. Her family had dinner planned in Boston at her mom's house. Traditional setup, turkey, stuffing, the whole spread. Everyone would be there. Except Leonard. Because Dejah and Leonard had broken up again. After all those public posts humiliating her, questioning the baby's paternity, she'd finally had enough. He wasn't invited to family Thanksgiving. He had no place at that table. But then Dejah made the decision that would end her life. She decided to let him see the baby anyway. Just for a few hours. Just so Delaney could have her father present on Thanksgiving, even if the relationship was over. Maybe she wanted Delaney to have both parents in her life despite everything. Maybe she hoped seeing his daughter on a holiday would remind him what mattered. Maybe she still loved him underneath all the hurt and just wanted things to feel normal for one day. We'll never know exactly why she made that choice. She packed a diaper bag, bottles, diapers, wipes, the essentials. Strapped 2-month-old Delaney into her car seat, making sure everything was secure the way careful mothers do. Started her car for the 30-mile drive from Boston to Lowell, to Leonard's place on Llewellyn Street. She sent a text to her mom before leaving. "I'll be back for dinner. Save me a plate." 8 words. That text message was her last communication with anyone. She had absolutely no idea she was driving to her own execution. 12:47 p.m. Dejah's phone location shows her arrival at Llewellyn Street in Lowell. Leonard's ankle monitor confirms he's home, right where he's supposed to be according to his court-ordered curfew terms. Both of them in the same house. A mother, a baby, and a man wearing a GPS tracker. What happened in those first few hours remains partially unknown. There were no witnesses except a 2-month-old baby who can't tell us what she saw. But we can piece together fragments based on what came next. Did they argue immediately about the paternity accusations? Did Leonard look at Delaney and feel nothing? No connection, just continued suspicion? Did Dejah try to defend herself, to prove the baby was his, and that triggered something in him? The exact spark that lit the fire, we don't know. What we do know starts around 3 p.m., based on the medical examiner's reconstruction. Blood evidence tells the story her voice can't. The attack began in the kitchen. Initial blood spatter found on the walls, the cabinets, droplets on the floor in a specific pattern that indicates the first strike happened there. Dejah tried to run. The blood trail proves it, leading from the kitchen through the hallway toward the bedroom. She was trying to escape, to get away from him, to survive. But he caught her, dragged her back, cornered her in that bedroom. The defensive wounds on her hands and arms tell us she fought back hard. She didn't give up. She clawed. She pushed. She tried everything to stop him. But Leonard had 58 separate opportunities to make a different choice, and he chose violence every single time. 58 stab wounds. Let me break that down for you. Chest, neck, both the front and back of her neck, face, head. This wasn't a crime of passion where someone loses control for 30 seconds. This was sustained, methodical, calculated execution. Each stab wound required force, required intention, required a conscious decision to keep going. He had to pull the knife out and plunge it back in 58 different times. Forensics estimate the attack lasted somewhere between 7 and 12 minutes. 7 to 12 minutes. Think about how long that actually is. Set a timer right now if you need to understand. She knew she was dying for every single second of those minutes, feeling the blade enter her body over and over, trying to scream, to breathe, to understand why the man she'd loved since she was 14 was killing her. Her neck fractured from the sheer brutality. That kind of injury doesn't happen accidentally. That requires rage, strength, the intention to destroy. And somewhere in that house, 2-month-old Delaney was present. Whether she was in the room, in a crib nearby, we don't know for certain. But she was there, in that house, while her father murdered her mother. 4:56 p.m. Leonard cuts off his GPS ankle monitor. The bracelet that had been transmitting his location to state monitoring services suddenly goes dark. Signal lost. He knows exactly what he's done, and now he's trying to disappear. But before he runs, he does something that shows you how calculated this was. He locks the bedroom door from the inside, then crawls out through a window, staging it to buy himself time before anyone finds her body. He grabs baby Delaney. She's physically unharmed, thank God, but he takes her with him. He grabs Dejah's car keys off the counter, gets into her vehicle, the one she drove there that morning excited about Thanksgiving dinner. Surveillance cameras will later catch him driving her car through Boston, her blood probably still on his clothes, her baby in the back seat. He drops Delaney at a relative's house in Boston without any explanation. Just hands over the baby and leaves. Doesn't call police. Doesn't call an ambulance. Doesn't give Dejah any chance of survival, even though she might have still been barely alive when he left. He leaves her bleeding out alone in a locked room and goes on the run. Meanwhile, back in Boston, Dejah's family is waiting. The food is getting cold on the table. That plate her mom saved is sitting there untouched. Phone calls keep going to voicemail. Text messages show as delivered but never read. She's never late. LaToya keeps saying, "Something's wrong. My baby wouldn't miss Thanksgiving." Everyone tries to calm her down at first. Maybe her phone died. Maybe she lost track of time with the baby. But as the sun sets and hours pass with no word, the panic becomes real. LaToya pulls out her phone and checks Find My iPhone. Dejah's location is still showing at that Lowell address. Still there, not moving, just sitting in one spot for hours. That's when LaToya knows. A mother always knows. November 26th, early morning, the day after Thanksgiving. LaToya hasn't slept a single minute. She's been sitting up all night, phone in her hand, calling Dejah over and over. Every call goes to voicemail. Every text stays undelivered. Something is catastrophically wrong, and she can feel it in her bones the way only mothers can. At dawn, she gets in her car and drives 30 miles from Boston to Lowell, to that address still showing on Find My iPhone. The entire drive, she's praying she's overreacting, praying she'll get there and Dejah will answer the door looking confused, saying her phone died and she just lost track of time. She arrives at the house on Llewellyn Street as the sun comes up. Dark, silent, completely still. She walks up to the door and knocks. Nothing. Knocks harder, calling Dejah's name. Still nothing. LaToya starts looking through windows, cupping her hands against the glass to see inside. The house is empty. Lights are off. No movement, no sound. But Dejah's phone location is still showing inside this house. Still right here. She calls the Lowell Police Department, requests a welfare check, explaining her daughter came here yesterday for Thanksgiving and never came home. Officers arrive within minutes, and LaToya is standing on that porch trying to hold herself together while every instinct is screaming at her. The house is completely sealed. Every door locked, every window shut tight. Officers try the usual entry points. Nothing works. Finally, one of Leonard's relatives, who has a key, shows up. They manage to get inside through a side entrance after climbing through a window to unlock the door. The relative goes in first, calling Leonard's name. Searching the first floor, moving room to room. Kitchen empty. Living room, nobody there. Everything looks relatively normal except for the silence. That heavy, thick silence that feels wrong. Then they head upstairs. There's a bedroom door that's locked from the inside. That detail matters. Locked from the inside, meaning whoever did this locked it before leaving through another exit. The relative kicks the door open and sees Dejah's body on the floor next to an air mattress. Blood everywhere, not just around her body, but throughout the entire house. Once police start processing the scene, the kitchen has blood spatter on the walls, cabinets, even the ceiling in some spots. Droplets and smears that map out exactly what happened. A trail of blood runs from the kitchen through the hallway leading to the bedroom. This wasn't contained to one room. This was a moving massacre where she tried desperately to escape, and he hunted her down. The blood pattern tells the story of her final moments better than any witness could. Medical examiners arrive and begin their grim documentation. The initial count as they photograph her body, approximately 50 visible stab wounds. They keep counting as they process the scene. 52, 54, 56. The final autopsy report will confirm 58 distinct wounds. Chest torn open, neck slashed from both front and back, face and head covered in defensive injuries where she tried to protect herself. The kitchen knife is still at the scene, recovered as evidence. It matches the wound patterns perfectly. Time of death gets estimated at Thanksgiving afternoon, November 25th, which means Dejah had been dead for over 12 hours while her family was calling her phone, while her mom was texting, "Where are you?" and "Call me when you get this." She was already gone. The officers immediately ask about the baby. 2-month-old Delaney was supposed to be with Dejah, and there's no baby in this house. Panic sets in. Is there a second victim? Did he take the baby somewhere? Is she hurt, abandoned, worse? Then word comes through. Baby found safe at a relative's house in Boston. Physically unharmed, no visible injuries. But psychologically, a 2-month-old baby was somewhere in that house during her mother's murder. Whether she was in the room, in a crib, in another bedroom, we don't know for certain. What we do know is that baby Delaney's first Thanksgiving was spent watching or hearing her father kill her mother. Even if she can't remember it consciously, that trauma exists somewhere in her body. That's the day her life changed forever, and she was too young to understand any of it. The officer makes the call that destroys what's left of LaToya's world. She's still standing outside the house when her phone rings. The voice on the other end says, "Ma'am, I need you to know, your daughter was stabbed." LaToya's first question, is she alive? The pause before the officer answers tells her everything. "No, ma'am. I'm very sorry." 3 words that end 22 years of being Dejah's mother. Gone. Just like that. Who did it? LaToya's voice is shaking now, barely holding together. The officer responds carefully. "We're investigating." But LaToya already knows. Everyone already knows. There's only one person Dejah came to Lowell to see. 22 years of raising her daughter, watching her take her first steps, helping her with homework, celebrating her high school graduation, seeing her get accepted to college, start her first real job, become a mother herself. All those years, all those memories, all those plans for the future, erased in one afternoon by a man who claimed to love her, by the same person who met her at a roller rink when she was 14 and promised to protect her forever. The GPS ankle monitor data gets released to investigators within hours, and it tells them everything they need to know. Leonard Robinson was at that Lowell address during the entire time frame of the murder. The technology tracked his every movement, time-stamped and documented. After 4:56 p.m., when he cut the monitor off, the data shows his last known locations before the signal died. Movements tracked into Boston, a calculated pattern that proves this wasn't panicked flight. This was someone who knew exactly what he'd done and was trying to cover his tracks. Surveillance cameras pick up the rest of the story. Gas stations, traffic lights, ATM cameras, all catching Leonard driving Dejah's car through Boston. Her car, the one she drove to see him that morning. Multiple locations captured on video before he ditched the vehicle and disappeared. Phone record shows 0 emergency calls made. He never called 911, never called for an ambulance, never gave Dejah any chance at survival even in those first critical minutes when medical intervention might have mattered. He just left her there to bleed out alone. His social media posts about paternity doubts get preserved as evidence. Screenshots of everything, the polls, the accusations, the public humiliation. His own words documenting exactly why he killed her. Motive handed to prosecutors on a silver platter, written by the killer himself. Baby Delaney is found on November 26th at a relative's house in Boston. The relative tells police Leonard dropped her off the previous day with almost no explanation. Just said he had to handle something and left. No mention of Dejah, no concern about where the baby's mother was. The technology Leonard tried to escape recorded everything. Every step, every decision, every movement. He thought cutting off the ankle monitor would erase the evidence. Instead, it just marked the exact moment he knew he'd committed murder. Leonard Robinson had 2 pending gun charges when he murdered Dejah. 2 separate cases in Suffolk Superior Court for illegal firearms possession. He already had previous violent crime convictions sitting on his record, and the court released him on $5,000 bail. $5,000. That's what the system decided was enough to protect the public from a repeat violent offender. Think about that number. People pay more than that for a used car. That's what Dejah's life was worth to the bail system. But here's the thing. The court didn't fully trust him either. They knew he was dangerous. That's why they put the GPS monitor on him. That's why they gave him a curfew from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. every night. They acknowledged the risk. GPS monitoring without detention is completely meaningless when it comes to preventing violence. It only documents the crime after it happens. The state knew exactly where Leonard was when he stabbed Dejah 58 times. They had his location down to the second, and it didn't save her life. What good is knowing where someone is if you can't stop them from killing? The monitor recorded the murder. It created a perfect timeline for prosecutors. But Dejah still died. Research shows GPS tracking does nothing to prevent intimate partner violence. It just creates evidence after women are already dead. If Leonard had been held without bail, Dejah would be alive right now. She'd be watching her daughter take her first steps, planning her 5th birthday party. That decision, to release a violent offender for $5,000, directly cost a 22-year-old mother her life. Cost 2-month-old Delaney her mother. The bail reform conversation needs Dejah's name attached to it, because she's the human cost of prioritizing defendant rights over victim safety. She's what happens when courts gamble with people's lives and lose.